Let's see. Live.
Welcome to the Pop. Welcome to the Pop. On the Wonder Sports Network. With your hosts, Genefitzmagic. James Wudi. Nigel down. And Caleeb Pinkett. The PoP. Welcome to the PoP. Welcome to the PoP.
Oh, snap. We're doing it again. The happiest of Fridays, morning, noon, or night, wherever you are in the world. It is a beautiful sunny day out here in the north, in the 416. It is gorgeous outside. I don't know how it is where y'all are at, but man, I'm having a good day so far. Let me stop all the niceties and just jump right into it. Welcome to another edition of the Pop Off. You know what it is, part of the Morning Brew Sports Network. And man, we've got a nice, fun show for you today. And we also have some nice, fun people here for you today. Let's start off with you, Gene. How are you, my guy?
I'm good, man. Had a rough few days, as you guys know. I want to shout out the best dog in the world, my girl Zoe. We had to we had to put her down on Wednesday, and we did it at the house. I had to go up to New York for it, and I'm missing her like crazy. But I'm a gamer, so I'm going to do the show. I might weep a little bit, but I'm here to do the show to hang out with my friends. And shout out to Zoe.
Amazing. Well, yeah, shout out to Zoe, man, the best companion that you probably have ever had. So, I mean, she'll be missed. But yeah, thank you for making an appearance, and also bringing one of your good friends along for the ride, second week in a row. Thank you so much for being here. Rob, what's good, my dude?
What's up, man? Happy to be back. Condolences to Gene.
Yeah, it's rough. It's a rough one. Thank you, buddy. Thank you.
Thanks for inviting me back, too.
Amazing.
Happy
Amazing. All right, well, look, let's just kick it off the way we only know how, which is talking about My Fitted today in honor, obviously, of the movie that just got released last night. But if you're privy to it in the city of Toronto, there was a massive premiere. I think it was on Tuesday night, and Mr. Ryan Reynolds himself and Hugh Jackman were both here in the city promoting Deadpool and Wolverine. So in honor of that, I thought I would wear one of my favorite fitteds. I mean, I always say that about every hat I wear. Boom, there you go. You got that classic X-Men colors right here. You got the X-Men big, heavy side packs, nice little Marvel brand right on the back. Everything is big in this one. And of course, the yellow New Era flag and the UV. Woo, yellow, baby. Got to keep it on brand. So that is what I'm wearing today. That is how the fitted game is going. And now let's talk about how the Olympics is going. We're going to jump into our first topic.
Wait, before we do that, can we give away all the spoilers for the movie? Because there's a lot of appearances in this movie. There's a lot of cameos. Let's give them all away.
I saw it last night. I can't even if we don't even have time.
That's a lot of cameos.
Yeah, we don't even have time. So if you haven't seen it yet, and if you're a fan of not only the franchise, but just looking at it, I saw an IMAX worth every dollar. Shout out to my boy Jason Liu, who I went out with yesterday. And he's a great guy. He works for Marvel, and he does a lot of writing, a lot of inking. Great dude. Anyways, let's jump into it. The Olympics is here. I believe the opening ceremony started maybe an hour ago or so, Eastern Standard Time in Paris. It is apparently, from what I heard, I haven't watched it yet, a horrible day. It's raining up there, and things aren't going too smoothly over there in Grand Paris. So let's also talk about how smoothly it may or may not go with Team USA. Should they be concerned about those close games that they just had? They had two, like back-to-back. Gene, what do you think?
I think they definitely should be a little nervous. Listen, they're playing more professionals. I think I saw a stat that said they played back in '92 with the first Dream Team. They played like 5 NBA players on other rosters. I think there's like 63 of them right now. So I think they need to be a little, concerned that they're going to have to go against people that they go against every day. I mean, look at to beat South Sudan by 1 point on a late shot by a 40-year-old ball player, and then also what the previous game was also a tough go. Yeah, man. I think they need to definitely be on their game. And listen, there's other countries, and you can thank Michael Jordan for it because he's the one who made this like such a worldwide sport, right? There's better brands of basketball in the world than there was even 4 years ago, 8 years ago, all the way down to '92. So yeah, I think the most of the Knicks. I also think Team USA needs to definitely be worried. And you know what? They need to put the ball in the players' hands that are really going to don't placate. Like what I'm trying to say is don't placate to the old players. Don't placate to LeBron. Don't placate to Steph. Put the ball in the players that's going to make a difference in his hands. I want to see Ant-Man go crazy in the Olympics. He's the guy that should have the ball the most. Keep Mr. Softy on the bench. We all know what I'm talking about with Mr. Softy. That guy from Beantown.
We'll get there. Yeah.
NB.
It's Jason Tatum. Keep Jason Tatum on the bench. We don't need him touching the ball.
Yeah.
But I want to see Ant-Man go nuts in the Olympics. They need him to.
All right. Rob, listen, as we know, Gene already touched on it. Wow, that South Sudan game, man. I mean, they just squeaked it out 101-100. And then a couple days after that, literally 48 hours after that, they ended up playing Germany and barely won that game 92-88. Rob, should Team USA be nervous?
Yeah, for sure. Kind of like how Gene alluded to, like the rest of the world is just they've really caught up over the last 2 or 3 decades. Like the world is really talented. You got teams like Germany, Australia, France, Canada, probably the biggest one, probably the biggest threat. Yeah, of course, on paper, USA should win. They obviously have the most talented team, but as we've seen in the last few international events, the games aren't played on paper. So the other teams, they have a lot of continuity. That's another thing. They've played together for a long time. This Team USA team, they haven't been able to gel together. They've only played together for a few weeks. So I think they should definitely be nervous.
That's a hot take. I love your statement there that you can't play like you look on paper. You know what I mean? That's just not the way how the game is. Because there's a lot of teams out there that look great on paper. And to your point, when you put a bunch of studs, alpha males on one team, especially if coming from the NBA, the National Basketball Association, I mean, they're all looking to be gamers. And this is this is the time where they can't be gamers individually because that's not the team they're on this time. The team they're on is a team that has to gel immediately because they've had their warm-ups. Another fun stat is that they've been revealing, like they've been letting up 87 games. They've allowed 87 games, which is 6 points more than the team allowed in the 10-game exhibition and tournament states during the 2020 Summer Olympics. So, I mean, they're just not playing defense. The bottom line, the squad doesn't play defense. Gene, you have anything to say on that?
Defense, I guess, doesn't pay the bills. It seems like because I feel like the best ball players in the NBA just don't. It seems like they don't play defense as well. It's all about scoring. Not that it's our problem in the Olympics, but like you look at like a Luka Doncic or James Harden, they don't even know what the word defense means. And I think that's part of the problem is everybody wants to shoot a three, but they don't want to get back on defense. And I think that's part of what it is. But we'll see. I feel like it's going to be tough, man. I feel like it's really going to be tough. I just hope, again, I hope they don't placate to the older players just because they're older and they're veterans. They've got to put the ball in their hands. And I think that's really where it's going to be. I think that's really going to be the main challenge of the team this year.
They should definitely look to Jason Tatum to lead the team.
This is how you're gonna start. This is what we're doing, Rob, today.
Yeah. Oh, that's Tatum. I didn't even notice that before.
He pulled it at the perfect time.
Rob, please leave. Please leave.
No, we can't. We need him. We need him today. Amazing. So then, why don't we just jump right ahead and just talk about, because you guys have mentioned it since we talking about Tatum. Let's talk about the dangerous players. Let's talk about those players that Team USA absolutely needs that most important player for Team USA. Who is it? Let's start with you, Rob. Who is the most important player or players on Team USA?
Most important. There's a lot of it's tough. There's a lot of really good guys. I might go with Anthony Edwards. Like Gene said, I feel like they should probably try to lean on Anthony Edwards. So far in the exhibition play, LeBron has been pretty clearly the best player on the team up to this point. But it could be Anthony Davis, just because I think he's a better fit for this competition than Joel Embiid. So just having him over Embiid, that could make him the most important player. Be a lot of different guys.
Gene?
Yeah, I agree, and I know that as far as the Anthony Edwards part, I think Anthony Edwards needs to be the main focus around the offense in the Olympics for Team USA. But I will say this, and it's going to sound like a contradiction, but let me explain. I do think also one of the main important pieces of this team is LeBron James, but not to be the centerpiece of the offense. I think he needs to be the guy that needs to be the leader of this team. So I need him to be the most important player on this team in other aspects. I don't need him to be the center of offense because I don't think that can last throughout the whole Olympics. The last few games, he's been the best guy on the team. I don't think that can last when push comes to shove and they start getting into like the medal rounds. I don't think he can be that guy that you can lean on that way. But I think you need to be able to lean on him as the leader of this team and as the team captain of this team. He's the leader of basketball in the whole world, right? So I think Team USA needs him to be able to lean on him for the rest of the Olympics. But I don't need him to be the centerpiece of offense. So I think when it comes to offense, I think it's Anthony Edwards. But when it comes to basically just leading this team to victory, I think you need a LeBron James to really set the tone and be the leader of this team going forward, the vocal leader on the court and off the court.
Well, I think you said it right there. Is the idea that it's the experience he has, right? And that's what he's leading with immediately. Like he's out the gate. He's like, listen, and to your point, I think, which is very, very special, and I think you nailed it, is that he's not trying to I'm not trying to put up 25 plus points and 20 plus assists. I'm not trying to do that. What I'm trying to do is show you what kind of pace that we want to have playing against the best of the best around the world, right? So it's that experience that he can bring to the table. And I mean, their group, they're gonna be fine out of the group. I think. Serbia, South Sudan, and Puerto Rico. So I mean, they'll be fine out of the group. I think it's after that is going to be the real challenges. And for Canada, Rob, as you had mentioned, and I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up my motherland, my home country. Canada has Australia, Greece, and Spain. So it's a little tougher, quote unquote, little tougher of a road. So that'll be a really great battle. And then Group B, France, Germany, Japan, and Brazil, which will also be interesting as well to see where France and Germany end up in that group. So there's a lot of work to be done. It's going to be fun, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. I believe all the games start tomorrow, but we are talking about today. So I also want to say, what's up, everybody in the chat? What's up, everybody that's showing up for us this afternoon? Thank you. We appreciate you. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, retweet, or re-X, or share. Let everybody know about the pod and what you're doing on this Friday afternoon. Who else we got? Yeah, Jigga Man, what up, chat? And Patty Puddles. Hey, man, it's so good to see your name up in here in the chat. And yes, I do have that many hats. I have a hat for every possible situation. I think maybe that's my superpower. Maybe that's my superpower. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's definitely yeah. Or your sickness.
Or my yeah, or that for sure. Let's jump into some NFL talk, because I mean that's really it for the Olympics. The Olympics is happening now.
Who's your as a Canadian? Which team do you fear the most in your bracket?
I want to say now probably Australia, because I think if it was a couple years back, I probably would have said Spain, but I think Spain has fallen off a little bit. I think they've just gotten older, but I think Australia has got the athleticism and just they've just learned so much more, especially with so many NBA players that they have in the NBA going over and playing. I think it's probably the most feared in our group. Okay. That's what I'd say. Yeah, that's where I'm at with that. Great. Let's jump into it, because, man, it is right around the corner. As you know, training camp has already begun. So we've seen our favorite players, we've seen our favorite teams. Everybody's hitting the field, everybody's doing things, everybody's got new haircuts and new dues. I know you guys know who I'm talking about. So things are happening. Things are happening. But let's go over to Green Bay, Wisconsin, where Mr. Jordan Love will not be participating without a new deal. Is he worth $50 million? Is that what we're talking about? $50 million, Gene, is he worth it?
Dude, he had half a good season. He had half a season that was really good. The other half was a guy that was trying to, feel his way through the season. Can you give a guy like that? I mean, can you give him $50 million or more? I mean, he might even get more. Who knows? I can't see it, man. Do I expect him to take 20 million? No, obviously I don't expect that. But 50 million, we're talking crazy money now. We're talking crazy money for a guy that's only played really half like good football for half a season. Do I think he's going to be the next Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers to go through that line of great quarterbacks for Green Bay? I think it's too early to tell, and I feel bad because it's the way that the contract is run that we're at that spot now, right? Where it's like, well, we kind of got to know what we're doing, and we need to know what he is. They might have no other choice but to really pay him what he wants. They might have no choice but to pay him $55 million a year. Is he worth it? No. Right now, no. Now, by the end of the year, he might be worth $75 million. Who knows? You're only going to see, especially with these contracts, these TV contracts going up, it's going to add to the number in the salary cap going up. And let's face it, quarterbacks, it's not about the money that they make per year. The way you base it is basically it's a percentage of a fantastic quarterback on a team is always going to get a percentage of what the salary cap is. That's where you're always going to see he might not be the best quarterback in the league, but as each contract comes up, you're going to see that guy get more money and more money and more money. That's why Mahomes isn't the number one, quarterback in pay right now. I think he's like 7 or something like that. Goff, I think, is like the top 3, is he not? And he's not the top 3 quarterback, but that's just how the business goes. So yeah, is he worth $50 million? No, but by the end of the year, depending on how high the salary cap goes up, he might be worth more than that just because he's proven it then. So you might be, as Green Bay, might be smarter to get that deal done now. If you believe in him, which they should believe in him, they drafted him, they held him through all this time, they traded away Aaron Rodgers. They have to believe in him at this point, right? I feel like for them, maybe for me, he's not worth $50 million, but I feel like for Green Bay, he's got to be worth $50 million because that price might only go up. Today's price might not be tomorrow's price.
I think that's the thing. That's the thing in the NFL. It's like all these holdouts, all these hold-ins, today's price.
That's the thing too. People hold-ins. I don't remember that being a thing back in the day, man. I remember holdouts being a thing. Now hold-ins is a whole different thing. It's like, I'll just sit on the bike for a couple of days because my ankle hurts.
If that.
So the hold-ins is totally different now, and it seems like a lot of players are doing that to kind of avoid that fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, man.
And just for the listeners that don't know what that is, so a holdout is when I just don't show up to camp at all. I don't show up to the facility. I don't show up to camp. I don't show up. I don't talk to anybody. I let my agent do all the work. A hold in is I'm going to flex. I'll show up to camp. I'll show up, but I'm not doing a damn thing. They don't do anything. They just they watch the practice, but they're not out there participating. So again, as Gene just mentioned, that's to avoid the fine. But Jordan Love, he's just doing that straight up holdout. Rob, how do you feel about Love?
I'm with Gene. I don't think he's shown enough to, say that he's worth $50 million a year. He's only started 1 year. He's had 1 full year starting. I mean, it was a solid year. And he had a great playoff game against the Cowboys, which of course makes everybody love him because we all hate the Cowboys. But there's only like I think 6 other quarterbacks in the NFL that are actually making $50 million a year, and it's Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, Justin Herbert, and I think Jared Goff. Like, do you think he's on the same tier as those guys?
Is he on the same tier as Jared Goff?
I think he's still below.
Because Goff's been around here a little bit longer. We don't really know what.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like Gene said, I mean, he could be worth that. Like 1 year from now, you could look at him and say he's easily worth $50 million. But as of right now, especially if they're going to give him like a 4 or a 5 year deal. I mean, you could do a lower guarantee maybe, but
that's part of the
I
problem
would
is these players today,
I
they want more guaranteed money than anything else. So that's the hard part. Is it's not so much the per year, it's the guaranteed money that's where things get tricky and dicey for a lot of the athletes in the league now. So I don't know, man.
And the guaranteed money, that's another term that we're not used to hearing, and that's a more recent flex too. Like the whole thing recent, like in terms of the term, maybe the move has been always.
Yeah.
We haven't always known about hold-ins, and we haven't really been privy to the guaranteed money of everybody. Now everybody has the stat is here's their guarantee, and then here's their overall, which is wild sometimes. I mean, Love has a couple people to throw the ball to and to hand off to. He's got Jacobs in there, Christian Watson is receiver, Romeo Doubs. So he's got people. So maybe if he starts where he ended last year, he might be worth something. But that something doesn't start and end with. I think that's a number.
But do you think that maybe it would behoove the Packers if they think he's their guy to just get that deal done now?
Oh, well, I think we'll get into that throughout the pod today. Yeah, I feel like let's get those deals done now so you don't have to worry about them going into the season one, man, or going into week one.
Or just becoming or pricing yourself even further up.
Totally. I mean, the worst thing that can it's detrimental to both when you hold out for week one of preseason. We're getting into some messy territory there because like that's only 2 weeks of camp or 2 weeks of training until the first game starts. And we all know week 1 to 5 is pretty pivotal in the NFL. You can really make or break your season, believe it or not. So I think, the sooner the better. It's very cliche, but that's the deal. Yeah. That's the world we're living, I think, in the NFL. Let's jump over to the next thing, the next topic of choice, which is another quarterback who's just out in the ether. Ryan Tannehill. Is he ever going to get signed? Is he going to get signed? Look at him in that classic Titans jersey. Rob, what do you think?
I don't think so. He's a good quarterback. Like he's a good serviceable quarterback, but he's getting old. He's shown steady regression over the last few years. I mean, part of that's being on a pretty bad Titans roster. Mm-hmm. But I mean, maybe a team with like a really good roster could look to him like a 49ers team because, they love their serviceable quarterbacks that aren't good enough to win them a ring. But I don't know. His birthday's tomorrow. He's going to turn 36, which is interesting. I share a birthday with Ryan Tannehill.
Happy birthday, man. I know
yeah, man, that's great. I've heard that. That's the most interesting fact out of your little bit right there. It's his birthday tomorrow. It's such a random choice.
I'm entering my prime. Tannehill's, he's out of his prime. I'm entering my prime.
Yeah. Fair. Very good point. So speaking of out of his prime, the guy's thrown for over 35,000 yards, 34,000 yards. That's how much he's thrown for over that. Not only that, he's 216 touchdowns. He's got a QBR of 92%. I mean, the guy knows what he's doing. He's been around for a while, right? 151 career starts in 12 seasons. He's been around. Will this experience help with rumored teams like the Denver Broncos or
that's the perfect fit,
or the Washington Commanders who have drafted rookies? Now, do you put Tannehill in there maybe for week 1, week 2 starts or just to help the rookies out along the way? Gene, what do you think? Well, first of all, yes,
Sierra's in the house.
I was just going to say the exact same thing. What's up, Sierra? Shout out to you.
I can't wait to hear a take on the NFC West when we get there. So it's going to probably be very one-sided, I'm sure. But yes, listen, I think Denver is the perfect fit for him. He doesn't have to go in and start. He can basically be a guy that just, he could be the backup quarterback and just kind of mentor Bo Nix. I think it's the perfect situation. I'll be honest. Tennessee would have been a good situation for him to come in and just be a backup because they got some young quarterbacks. But if he's got to go, I don't understand why Denver hasn't pulled the trigger on bringing him there. Is it a money thing? I don't know. But Tannehill should definitely have a job in this league. He's good enough to be at least a backup somewhere. And I think Denver would be the perfect fit for him. That's all I got.
Yeah, I could see him being a backup somewhere for sure. I just don't think he's gonna get signed anywhere and like be a starter.
No, I don't.
No.
Starting days are over for him, unless he's starting because somebody got hurt or just the new start. The rookie's not ready, but Denver would be an absolute perfect fit for him.
I agree. I think he could get that team out of some sticky situations. I think he could really like lead that team. There's not a lot of magic or flair on that team. Nor is he a lot of magic or flair, but I think he's just enough to get them out of some sticky situations if the rookies can't handle it, or even just to show the rookies how to get out of those situations, because he's been in damn well all of them. So I think
he's been in the league a while, so he's definitely got some history to him. I think he'd be a perfect fit for Denver.
Yeah. I hope it works out for the dude. Like, at least give him 2 more seasons, 2 to 3 more seasons, and then he can step away from the job. Speaking of stepping away from the job, what about the holdouts and the hold-ins we have talked about? So I'm talking about the San Francisco 49ers. Who is more important to them? Right now they have wide receiver Brandon Ayuk or the offensive tackle Trent Williams. Williams is doing the hold out. Ayuk is doing the hold in. Man, this is wild. This is wild because Williams never practices anyway. So he doesn't practice anyway, but he's holding down that offensive tackle position. He's a starter, hands down. This is what it is. But Ayuk is doing the hold in, so he's showing up, just not getting those reps in. So there's a big difference between the two, and both of those are major players on that team that should lead them to the NFC Championship. What do you think, Gene?
I think Trent Williams is infinitely more important to this team than, and obviously Sierra believes the same.
Wild.
He's such an anchor on that offensive line. She's right. O-line is trash without Trent. I wouldn't say trash, but he's such an anchor on that offensive line that they need him. And Purdy, because without a good offensive line, Purdy starts looking like the reason why he got drafted last overall, right? So he doesn't look like that star quarterback that he looks like without that. If you looked at last year when they lost Trent Williams for a few games, when they lost some of their offensive talent for a couple of games, they lost games that they should have won. I think the Viking game they lost. They lost like a handful of games that you thought, 49ers are going to go in and smash. But I think they lost to the Browns. I think the Vikings. I'm sure Seattle would know the games they lost that they shouldn't have lost. But that was during that time period where Trent Williams was banged up. And Purdy looked really not so great. And we saw like a not so great Purdy where it became an issue. I think that will be a problem. They also drafted some young wide receivers too to this team where they have some guys that can maybe come in and fill in for Ayuk a little bit. But they don't really have an answer for that offensive line if Trent Williams isn't there. And you know what? He's been long enough of a veteran. He's been in this league long enough that he could probably hold out, show up the week before, and be fine. As long as he shows up a week before the game time, I'm sure he'll be fine. He's not a young guy that needs to learn a bunch of stuff. He's been there, done that. Like you said before, he doesn't really do much practicing anyway, because he's always a little banged up. You always want to keep him fresh for the games. So I think as long as he gets there before week 1, he'll be fine. They'll just slot him right into that starting spot. But they better pay him because I think he's dropped down to like 5th in the league after Darrisaw got his contract. So we'll see how it goes. But you know what? Purdy's going to look real normal if they don't get that deal done for Trent Williams.
Yeah, it's true. Rob, what do you think?
Trent Williams for sure. Brandon Ayuk is a very good wide receiver, but they have other offensive weapons. And like Gene said, you take Trent Williams off of their O-line and they look not great. So you definitely need Trent Williams there to bolster the offensive line. And then even if you don't have Ayuk, you're still gonna have guys like Deebo Samuel, Christian McCaffrey. So they'll have other people to go to. But I think one factor, Trent Williams is getting old. Like he's getting older. He's 36. Like if you're thinking about right now, obviously Trent Williams is more important, but if you're thinking about 4 or 5 years from now, it could be Brandon Ayuk because he's only 26 years old. He's just entering his prime. But I think you have to look at, if you're the 49ers, you should be prioritizing right now. So
yeah, this is their window.
That's exactly what I was going to say. This is their window. And I mean, as far as they made it last season and the season before, it's like they're knocking on the door. It's who knows if if the trophy's going to change hands, but it could possibly change hands to theirs. And we know the roster. The roster is ridiculous. So Purdy, leading up the team, Debo, like Ayuk, if he stays, who knows what's happened with that. Jennings, Kittle. So they've got a mean offense. We all know this, but you take Ayuk out of the mix, changes things.
Yeah,
he goes to other teams. Who knows what happens to those other teams, especially if he stays in the NFC. So we'll see what happens on that front. But I feel like that's very, very interesting. And I'm with you guys, hands down. It's obviously Williams because, to your point, Gene, yes, he very much is the anchor of that line. And he keeps it together, keeps it running like a well-oiled machine.
Giga Man, my man Celso actually comes up with a pretty good stat or a prediction, and I think it's going to be right on. Put it up again, Celso. There we go. That's going to happen. That's going to happen.
1-1. All right. Somebody take a screen grab and just keep that one.
Because you know who they got week 1, right? Monday Night Football.
Oh boy, we'll all be watching.
Sierra, you know that they can't beat the Jets. Sierra, stop lying. Don't play yourself, Sierra. You know they are losing to the Jets week 1. Please.
Now let's talk about who might be a loser right now. CeeDee Lamb. What is he doing? Because he is also holding out because he's seeking a new contract. And we all know on that side, he's going to earn some money because he was a first team all pro, after last season, 135 receptions, setting career highs for himself, 1,700 yards, 12 touchdowns. Well, I mean, the guy put in work, but is he worth it though? Is he worth it, Rob? CeeDee Lamb, do you think he's worth it? Do the Cowboys need to put up the money?
Yeah. I mean, he showed last year he's one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. He had, I think it was 135 catches, over 1,700 yards. He's just too good. They can't let him go. But Dak Prescott, I don't know. I just don't like Dak. I just wanted to mention that.
Fair. Okay. Great. Love it. Cold.
He needs CeeDee Lamb. He needs CeeDee Lamb because he's a pretty average quarterback.
Oh yeah, 100%. Gene.
Yeah, you need to pay him not only because of as good of a receiver as he is if he's not playing, who else are they going to throw the ball to?
Exactly.
Like they're just not deep enough at the wide receiver position to be able to lose him. I know what makes it tricky is Jetta got all that money up in Minnesota, and that's gonna make it a little bit tougher. But listen, and you got all the people to pay. They're gonna pay Dak. I think they need to still pay Micah Parsons. It gets dicey about how you able to fit all these guys under your cap. You can't pay everybody crazy money, right? But I think that you can figure out a way to get those 3 guys paid. You can be creative enough with their contracts. There's a way to do it. Look at the 49ers. 49ers have a million people that they are paying crazy money to. There's a lot of teams that pay crazy money to their players. You can figure it out. Get a capologist on it, whatever you need to do, but you got to figure out how you pay him, and you pay Dak, and you pay Micah Parsons. Now, do I think Dak's going to get overpaid? Yes, but do I think he's a good fit for Dallas and what Dallas wants to do? I actually think he's a great fit for Dallas. I don't think Dallas needs to move on from him. I think Dallas needs to keep him. Because if they don't, somebody else will pay Dak. Somebody will pay Dak. So you might as well keep him here. He can do what you need him to do as long as you get the weapons around him. I think maybe you need a little more depth behind behind CeeDee Lamb, but you need to pay CeeDee Lamb. Is he worth what Jefferson's getting? No, but he's probably right under that. Like you said, 135 catches. I mean, 10 years ago, that was like unheard of. Like, it's a different league now, I know, but he's the face of what wide receivers are going into this next generation, right? So you got to pay them in. To be honest with you, I think I actually like him better than Jefferson. If I was going to pick one of those 2 receivers and you said, who do you want? I think I pick CeeDee Lamb over Jefferson.
Okay. I posed that question to the chat. Would you take CeeDee Lamb or Jefferson? Okay. All right. I probably
taking Jefferson.
You're taking what, Jefferson?
I'm going with Jefferson. Yeah.
I think I go Lamb.
Okay. You know what? I'm not even going to split the difference. I'm just going to leave it at that. Let the chat decide. Yeah, it's a very interesting situation that the Cowboys always find themselves in. I just don't understand how America's team, quote unquote, can still be conflicted with paying their players, paying their high end players to keep this team together. I just had a flash because I was just like, they can't get out of the playoffs, man. They just can't get out of the first round. They can't get out of wild card. They can't.
They're allergic. They're allergic to winning in the playoffs.
Yeah,
I saw a report earlier that CeeDee Lamb and Micah Parsons both want to be the highest paid non-quarterback.
Yeah,
for
which
NFL.
doesn't work.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So.
it's gonna get dicey.
Yeah, things are definitely going to get messy. You know what? Let's flip over to the other side of the NFL. Let's ask questions about Bill Belichick. Now, I know he's out of a job right now. He's probably just golfing, and I don't know, probably just golfing. But would he help a team as an assistant coach? Can you guys think of a team that Bill Belichick could help? Maybe he does jump ship and go to the NFC side of things, or would you keep him in the AFC? Any teams come to mind, Rob?
I think he could help. I think he could help a few teams as long as him and the head coach are on the same page. I think like they have to be on the same page because I feel like there's certain situations where he could go into a team and just completely try to hijack what they're doing. So it just depends.
So go ahead, Gene.
I think he needs to go to a team that has a very secure coaching staff. There was rumors that the 49ers reached out to him about coming on their coaching staff. Shanahan's ingrained in that team. He's not going anywhere. That's the only kind of place that he would fit, is a team that is lockstep with their coach. Like a Pittsburgh, he's not going to be able to undermine the coach in Pittsburgh. He's not going to, there's certain coaches. He's McVay is locked in LA. Any of those situations, he's not going to be able to go in and uproot the coach. If he goes into a shaky situation, like what's going on in Buffalo, I wouldn't want to be the head coach of Buffalo. I'm blanking on his name, but the head coach of Buffalo, and have him as one of my assistants. And the minute I hit like a 2 or 3 game losing streak, I have to worry about the fans calling for Belichick to run this team. But he could help out in a team that's already got their coach fully ingrained as the leader of the team. But there's not that many teams like that. There's not that many teams like that. And also, too, put the picture again of Belichick. Doesn't he look like the cranky old neighbor you have at the end of your block that if the ball goes over the fence, he's not throwing it back? Like, look at this picture. He is such a cranky looking dude, bro.
1,000%. We all know this.
I hate this guy.
We all know this. He's not not a nice man. He just looks like not a nice man.
Yeah, he's an awful human being.
Yeah, but he knows how to win rings. So
yeah, well, there's at least that.
Yeah, I think both of you guys are right. I think that the coaching staff definitely needs to be in tip-top shape. They need to be solid as a too, that you have to think of that. Like that needs to be a part of the puzzle, or a piece in the puzzle that needs to be unwavering to bring in Bill Belichick, because he's such a tour de force. Like he's such a, especially now, he'd probably be the wildest X factor on the coaching side. Mm-hmm. So who knows how he would do on any other team. I was thinking about maybe even Jacksonville, to be more specific, like just a team that could also just need his offensive brain, or just maybe his defensive brain to just, to not so much right the ship, but just like upstart things a little bit, just to kind of tweak it. But that's a team that came to mind. Does any team specifically come to mind? Because I think you guys bring up really good points, but does any team specifically come to mind? Gene, you said not Buffalo.
Not Buffalo. Yeah. I mean, again, the 49ers were one of the teams that were rumored to have looked out and tried to bring them on. I think that would be a spot. Maybe even Denver. Maybe Denver, that has a horrible defense right now. They're probably going to be ranked in like the top, the bottom 5 of defense, even with the stud, corner. Maybe that might be a good spot for him, because he's not gonna overtake the head coach there. So Denver might be a good spot for him.
Yeah, that's a good one. Rob, any ideas?
Yeah, I've seen San Francisco. I know he turned that one down. Maybe Denver, like Gene said. I saw a rumor about Las Vegas. Um, I'm not sure how good of a fit that would be. I feel like that's another team that he could probably go into and undermine the staff.
Yeah, because he's new. He's a new coach. He's only doesn't even have a full season in yet.
Yeah, and also that team is kind of in a disarray, right? Like, I mean, the whole operation over there is they're going through some things. They're going through some things.
Yeah, always though.
Yeah, that's true. That's just kind of been their MO for the last, like, I don't know, half a decade or so.
More.
Like,
yeah, since the franchise started. No, come on. All right, great. Look, we have a couple things that we want to talk about before we jump on board. We're talking about the NFC West, which I'm excited to talk about. But first, let's talk about Hassan Reddick. Is he worth 25 mil in Philly? Do they have that much money to spend on him?
No, Philly? He's not. Well, no, he's on the Jets now.
Oh, right. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Do your Jets have that much cash money?
No, we don't. And here's the thing.
Okay.
Supposedly, it depends who you want to believe. You hear like one rumor that they just made the trade. You hear other rumors that they actually spoke to the guy and he was willing to come to camp. And then if he showed up to camp, they'd work out a deal. And you hear all these different stories. Is he worth $25 million a year though? Not my money. I don't know. Listen, he's been one of the best pass rushers in the league the last few years, right?
Yeah.
Jets, they gave up their top pass rusher in Huff to Philly. So I would probably give him the money. You got to figure it out, fit it under the cap. I don't think they have the cap space to do it right now. So you'd have to figure it out. But like I said, get a capologist. These other teams are creative with their cap space. Figure it out. For Sierra, but from what I understand, that they actually kind of agreed before the trade was made on something, and he kind of it seemed like he reneged. So we'll see. I think they got to figure something out. I know the Jets have the leverage. He's under contract. They're gonna fine him each day that he's out. Jets have the leverage, and just show up and ball out, and you'll get your money.
Good way to end that one. Rob, what do you think? Worth it?
25 is a lot. Like he's been a really productive pass rusher. But 25 is a lot of money. I'd say like between 20 to 25. Like if you say 22 million, I'd say yeah, give it to him. 25, it's kind of iffy. Like Gene said, like the Jets don't really have any pressure to give him that contract. So I feel like if he just comes in and keeps doing what he's been doing over the last few years, he should have no problem earning that contract. But I'd say give it to him.
Oh, all right. So not only do the Jets have a new identity, they have a new logo, they got some new swag they're coming out with, they're going to be popping off with. Gene, do your Jets have what it takes to get through this division? The Dolphins and the Patriots, the comeback Patriots is what I'm going to call them because they look okay.
Oh, no, the Patriots are going to be in last place. They're garbage. The Jets are winning the division. You didn't heard?
No, I didn't. Every time I hear that, my ears close. Oh,
no, and that's the thing too. Is the Jets talking about with Reddick too? Is the Jets got a lot of guys they got to pay the next few years? They're gonna have to pay. They're gonna have to pay Garrett Wilson. They're gonna have to pay Sauce Gardner. They're gonna have to pay Breece. They got to pay Breece Hall. They're gonna have to pay a lot of these guys like I don't know how they fit everything under their cap. I really don't. But yeah, I think the Jets are coming in first place wholeheartedly. I do. I think USA Today has them winning the Super Bowl against the Green Bay Packers, which would be pretty cool. No,
they don't.
Yes, they do. USA Today put out their preseason predictions, and they have it's Jets versus Packers.
Okay.
And Aaron Rodgers going up against his old team in the Super Bowl, and the Jets winning.
Wow.
Did you write the article?
No, actually, I did not. But I paid the guy. No, listen, it's a good time to be a Jets fan. I feel bad for you guys because you guys are in a tough division with your Steelers.
Always.
Yeah, you guys have a very overrated wide receiver. But you know, you guys will be all right. You have the best. Yeah, you have one of my favorite coaches in the league.
Yeah, Tomlin knows what he's doing. And look, man, it's. I mean, this division, yes, for sure. If it's not the toughest, it's like the second toughest division in all of football. Entertaining to watch, and you just never know who's going to come out on top. Obviously, Rob, stand with me, but obviously, we want our team to win out every time. There are times that if they're going up against Cleveland, there's certain things in the air. Sometimes you just don't. It's a kind of a wild card game. You don't really know what Cleveland Brown team is going to show up. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they show up to play. A lot of times they don't, but sometimes they show up to play. And the hype seems to be a lot better than they are on paper, right? A couple seasons ago on paper, I was like, whoa, Cleveland's won the division. Not so much. Rob, what are your thoughts?
Cleveland, I'll never have faith in Cleveland. After that 1 year, I know what year you were talking about. Everybody, Cleveland's going to the Super Bowl. Cleveland's going to win the Super Bowl. And then they wildly disappoint like they do every year. So
they do have a knack for that.
I'm a realist. I don't think the Steelers are going to win the division. It's probably going to be I think the Ravens will probably win the division. I think the Ravens are a little bit better than the Bengals.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be another one of those years where 9-8 could get you last place in the division. It's going to be a tough one.
Yeah.
I think we're going to be better than the Browns, though, for sure. We're not going to finish in last place.
Without a doubt. There's no way. But you know what? Since we're divisions, let's just jump in to the biggest last topic of the day. Let's talk about the NFC West. We want to talk about the division previews. Man, the football season is here. So let's rank the NFC West. Oh, my goodness. First of all, let's just start with the teams. You can go 4-1 or you can go 1-4, whatever you guys feel. Gene, let's start with you. Let's talk about the NFC West, and just to make sure those listeners out there know. And if you don't know, make sure you hit the like, subscribe, share, hang out with us in the chat. We love it. And Sierra also loves the NFC West, aka the best division in football. Beg to differ. So we have the San Francisco 49ers, the Los Angeles Rams, Seattle Seahawks, and the Arizona Cardinals. Genefitzmagic, go ahead, man. Give us your take.
All right. Am I giving the standings first? We're doing coaches, defense.
Let's do the standings first. Or sorry, let's do the rank your QBs first. Sorry, let's go QBs.
And I would love to see Sierra put her rankings too in the chat. So Sierra, give us what you rank is the top 4 quarterbacks in the division.
Yeah, let's go QBs.
So I'm gonna go with number 4, Brock Purdy. I just did it. I did that for Sierra. It's actually, can I be honest? It's actually I find this division to be very close with their quarterbacks. I don't find anybody leaps and bounds above anybody. I find it very much little chunks better than little bits better, because Geno Smith is still a decent quarterback, but I have him coming in 4th. I have him as the 4th best quarterback in this league or in this division. Kyler Murray, just because of the unknown of what he can do with the ball in his hands, I have him at 3rd. It pains me to put Purdy at 2nd, but Purdy's done a lot of winning, and I'll give Purdy the credit for it, even though I feel like his team is stacked around him, and that helps a lot. I do put Purdy at 2nd, but Stafford is the best quarterback in this division. Stafford has the longevity, he has the smarts, he's got the wits, got the arm strength still, even though he's as old as he is. I got Stafford as the number 1 quarterback in this division. And again, I don't have it where it's far, because you know what? On any given day, I might be like, yeah, you know what? Purdy's actually the last guy, and I put Geno Smith 2nd, or I put See, she's crazy. She's absolutely nuts.
Geno, obviously. Oh God, no. Geno Smith number 2 is pretty. Yeah, Geno. Wow.
That's interesting.
I mean, listen, this is one of those divisions where it could literally go week to week where it changes up, Yeah, but Purdy has better stats because he's got better tools around him. Come on, you even said it yourself.
Literally all the weapons in the world.
That's what I'm saying. He's got the best quarterback, best running back in the league. He's got the best offensive tackle in the league. He's got a great tandem with wide receivers, and we'll see if Ayuk isn't playing and Trent Williams isn't playing, it'll be a different ball game. He can go from 2nd or 1st, as Sierra has it, to 4th real quick.
So George Kittle.
Yeah. Yeah. So, this is one of the divisions where I think it could really change week to week. Just looking at it preseason wise going in, I have it very close, but I have it Stafford 1, Purdy 2, Kyler Murray 3, Geno Smith 4.
Great. Rob.
Same order. Like Gene said, this division they don't have any bad quarterbacks. Like every quarterback in this division is good. Um, I I think Geno Smith is number 4. He's had a few good seasons, but he's only done it for what, 2 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Kyler Murray coming off the injury. I think he played well, by the way, in the second half of the season. I think he's gonna have a good bounce back year. And like Gene said, just the unknown. He can run, he can pass. So Brock Purdy, I'll put him number 2. He has all the weapons in the world, and it is tough to, try to gauge what he would look like without those weapons, but that's the situation that he's in, so that's all we can really go off of. And then I think Matthew Stafford's pretty clear cut the number 1 quarterback in this division. He's the only one that's won a Super Bowl. We've seen him do more with less time and time again. And he is starting to get a little older, but the Rams have good weapons around him, so he should have another solid year.
I think a couple things I want to touch on too is like Geno Smith it's not that he came out of nowhere. I mean, he was drafted in 2013. The guy's 33 years old. It's not like he came out of nowhere, but a lot of his play in the most recent seasons has. All of a sudden, he's really stepped up and become, I don't want to say an elite quarterback, but a very, very good one. And serviceable, I think, doesn't do him justice because, again, he's just notches above that as well. I'd like to see what he could do with a real squad behind him. Like somebody that's like a team that could really keep him going and he can keep them going because the whole team is just inconsistent. They're going through transitions as well. It's a little sneakier than other teams. It's not as like in your face like the Raiders is like they're complete overhaul kind of thing. But like theirs is a little sneakier and they just kind of do what they do to get through the division. Also, Kyler Murray, I think the NFL world can just say we just want to see this kid thrive consistently. I really do. I mean, even since he was drafted, he just had all the things that we all wanted to see. But it's like a pick and choose your own adventure, man. You just don't know which game that Kyler Murray is going to show up to. You really don't. So I'd like to see a little bit more consistency from him on his end. But I mean, he still had like almost 1,800 yards, 10 TDs, 5 ins. So he's not bad. But I think I have the ranking just about the same as you guys. I would swap Purdy and Stafford, maybe 1 and 2. Whether they kind of jockey for me, but I can understand the argument that you guys are coming with because that makes sense. Stafford for the win. Let's give it to the man. But let's jump into who wins championships. Not the quarterbacks, defenses. They win championships. So let's talk about ranking those defenses. Let's start with you, Rob. We'll go in reverse. Rob, and then Gene, and then me.
Start at the bottom. I think the Cardinals are definitely the worst defense in this division. Number 3, I had the Seahawks. Seahawks number 3, Rams 2, 49ers 1. The 49ers, they already showed it last year. Like they have all the pieces. They have the philosophy. Not much is going to change for them next year. The Rams, I think, are a very interesting team. Obviously, they lose Aaron Donald, Hall of Famer, but they brought back some pieces. They brought in some new guys as well, so that should help them out.
Gene,
and then the Seahawks.
Oh, sorry, Rob. Sorry.
Continue. Oh no, you can go.
Yeah, Gene.
All right, so I got the Cardinals coming in last. That might be the last. I mean, they might be less than the whole league. That's how bad that defense is going to be. So I got them coming in last. I got the Rams coming in third. I think that Aaron Donald hit is going to be a lot worse than people are giving it credit. So I think they take a step back on defense this year. Seahawks I got second, and yeah, the 49ers on defense are like, they're going to come in top 5. They might be. I would probably rank them maybe 5th best defense in the league overall, but first in this division 49ers have a tremendous, especially, and like Sierra's right, especially if they could stay healthy with Dre Greenlaw. If he comes back and he's good, yeah, that's a pretty solid unit. So I got them at number 1.
It's crazy the to see these teams rise up and then you watch them and you're just noticeably afraid of what their defense is going to do to your favorite team's offense. Like, that 49ers defense is going to be impenetrable. There's going to be a problem, like gaining yards, even just going 4-0 is just such a problem and so frustrating. I mean, as a fan, I can only imagine how frustrating it is. But a player, I mean, we're really in some tough times. So I've got going 4-1, Cardinals, Seahawks. Cardinals are bad, man. Seahawks still, for some reason, they still got a little bit of that Pete Carroll Legion, but just a little bit of the Legion boom there. I think maybe it's more the myth than it is the actual.
I would say I think you just remembering just the good old days.
Yeah, 1,000%. I think it's more of that's kind of seeping through. Where I'm like, yeah, I'll put them at 3, and then the Rams, right? Darnold, that's going to be an issue for them big time. But they seem to just kind of will themselves through youth to get up there. But then, the 49ers are going to definitely take the cake. There's no doubt about it. Anywhere on that field, it's going to be a problem for you. So you got to go ahead, Rob.
The Seahawks they lost Pete Carroll, but I think bringing in Mike McDonald, that's a really good replacement, because he was leading the Ravens defense last year. They had one of the top defenses in the league. So bringing in a defensive-minded coach to lead the team, I think that's a good move for them.
I think they'll be even better next year when we get to bring in some more guys that will be able to. By next year he'll bring in some more ex-Ravens that will help kind of instill his philosophy. I think by next year they'll really step it up even more.
That'd be nice. That'd be nice to see. I'm sure Seattle would love that too. And speaking of bringing in people, what kind of coaches do we have? If we rank them from 4-1. What coaches are doing some damage in this division in the NFC? Let's start with you, Gene.
Well, Sierra, we know she's going to say Shanahan's number 1, right? Because she's a homer. So I actually have, only because I need to see him do it as a head coach. I feel bad because I think he's going to be a good head coach, but I haven't seen him do it as a head coach yet. And there's a lot of guys that look like they're great, that are great defensive coordinators, great offensive coordinators, that get into the head coaching seat and they just aren't the same kind of coach. I think we got one of those in the Jets right now. I think Salah's a fantastic D coordinator. I just don't think he's a head coach. But so I'm going to go Mike McDonald, then I'm going to go Gannon from the Cardinals. And McVay is as good as it gets at coaching in LA, and then Shanahan is. McVay, when McVay became a head coach, I think we looked at McVay as like this offensive guru, this offensive guy. I think Shanahan has stepped it up a little bit. So I think Shanahan he might be my favorite coach in the whole league is Shanahan. He really might be. But I would have to go Shanahan number 1.
Clear, clean cut. Rob?
Same. Mike McDonald. Although I did say he's a really good pickup, he hasn't coached before, so by default he has to be number 4. Jonathan Gannon, he had a solid first year in Arizona, but he needs to do more. And then Sean McVay in LA, he's been great for them. He has won the Super Bowl there, of course. But I think, like Gene said, Kyle Shanahan, he's the cream of the crop in the NFC West, and I'd say he's the second. I'd put him number 2 behind Andy Reid.
Ooh, yeah,
my NFL head coach rankings.
Okay, hot take. Gene, speaking of NFL coach rankings, what would you say for your number 1 through 3? Do you have any idea? Because Rob just brings up a very good point.
Yeah, I'd probably go Shanahan, Reid, maybe Tomlin, or who's also a great coach is Harbaugh in Baltimore too.
John Harbaugh. I was going to mention him too.
It'd be hard not to mention him. You get some coaches that they get into a place, they have a couple of good, first years, but you could tell they're just kind of living off the old system that was there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to really judge it, or they're catching lightning in a bottle. But I think I got, I think I got to go. Three is tough because again, I don't know who to pick between Tomlin and Harbaugh. To me, are very like neck and neck. I probably go Tomlin over Harbaugh.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, it's I mean, this league now is about being able to adapt. Like, you can't just do the same thing that you did the week before, or a month before, or a year before. Like, you can't do that anymore because teams change so rapidly, personnel changes so fast, and the skill level has just like really ramped itself up. So now you have no idea what you're going to get, and I think that's a true head coach. That's a mastermind, is like being able to adapt every situation, or as many situations as they can. I really like Sean McVay. Back to the NFC West, I really like McVay, man. I think there's something about his energy with that squad when they come out of the tunnel. He just exudes like, a little bit of youth, a little bit of badassery. Just like, he kind of personifies Rams excellence, I think. But yeah, without a doubt, hands down, it's Kyle Shanahan. I mean, the guy is just like methodical, and just he's got obviously pieces to work with, but he uses them at the top of their game. It's not like he's kind of, well, let so-and-so just do the thing. Just like there's a reason to, there's a method, not even to his madness, because the guy's not mad. He's just like on point. So yeah, for sure, cream of the crop, absolutely. Coming from good pedigree.
I tell you what, and he hasn't done it long enough. He's only got 1 year under his belt, but there's something about D'Amico Ryans that I love.
Yeah.
I love D'Amico Ryans. I like him coming out from San Francisco. He's one of those guys that can actually fully coach. I don't think he is just a defensive coordinator. Personally love Mike McDaniel because he comes from San Francisco. So stop. And that's why you love D'Amico. Stop. D'Amico Ryans is very good. I like D'Amico Ryans a lot.
Yeah, man, Mike McDaniel too. I mean, he's another guy, just youthful, just running right out. He's running out like behind his players, and then he can catch up to his players. Like he's running.
Looks like Mark Anthony to me.
Yeah.
And Mark Anthony looks like a crackhead. So
you figure
Mike McDaniel.
Gene is back, everybody. Gene is back. Staying in the NFC West. Don't forget, you listen to the Pop-Off right here in the Morning Brew Sports Network, man. Like, share, subscribe, do all the things. Say what's up in the chat. It's all good. We're in the run out of the last couple of things we want to talk about today, which is the NFC West. We are breaking down that division, ranking teams, coaches, quarterbacks, defense, but now we're going to do the last ranking, which is the prediction of the season. What is that outcome going to look like? Where do we think these teams are going to finish in the NFC West? 4-1. Rob, let's start with you.
Cardinals are going to be last. They have a really bad defense. Kyler Murray's a good quarterback, but I don't think they're going to be able to get enough offense to be able to win enough games to get out of the basement. The Seahawks, I'll put the Seahawks number 3. I think they're probably going to be in that 7 to 10 win range. I think the Rams are going to have a good season. And then the 49ers are going to win the division again, like they do every single year.
Yeah, the more things change, the more things stay the exact same. Gene.
I would love to give Ciara a heart attack and say I have the Rams coming in first place. I would love that. I'm curious what she thought when, I don't know if she heard how Colin Cowherd has the Rams actually winning the division and the 49ers coming in second place because he says that they're just too old. I would love to know her take on what Colin Cowherd said. But I actually have the same division as Rob. I have the Cardinals in the last, Seahawks in third, Rams in second, and the 49ers. I got 49ers winning that division. Maybe I haven't gone to Super Bowl. We'll talk about, when we get further, when we get to the actual playoffs predictions. But yeah, I got the 49ers coming in first. And again, as much as I'd love to not say that, just to tweak Ciara, I'm not going to do that. I'm I'm going to go with my actual prediction of 49ers in first.
All right. Yeah, it's pretty clear cut to me too. Same thing. 49ers, Rams, Seattle, Arizona. Man, I just wish Arizona was a little better, but it's not. It's probably not going to happen. Yeah, so it's going to be San Francisco running ham all over this division. So it's going to be a good time. Good time. Colin's too old to still be talking. This is rage baiting. Yeah, fair enough.
Colin has some really awful takes.
What's that?
He had the Jets coming in third.
Oh boy! Wow.
Come on, Colin. I don't know. We had the Pittsburgh Steelers.
That's not that unrealistic. I got the Jets coming in second, but
I got them coming in first.
I wouldn't be shocked if they came in third.
Would you be shocked if they won the division?
Shocked? No.
All right.
I wouldn't be shocked. I just don't think they're going to win the division.
Listen, the Steelers. I think the Steelers finish in third before the Jets get finished in third. It's a tough division. Be fair. That's a tough division.
Whose division is tougher, yours or ours? The AFC East or the AFC North?
And NFC North. AFC North.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a tough division.
Yeah, thank you. Respect where respect is due. We are running out of topics, but there is a couple things that we might have missed. I don't have that much to talk about what we might have missed, except for the fact that going back to the Olympics, because that's what's going on right now. Canada's women's soccer team was accused, and it sounds like it's pretty much happened, of using drones to spy on not only the New Zealand women's soccer team during their practice, but multiple teams over the past couple years. And as a result, our head coach, Bev Priestman, was sent home, suspended from her duties. So that has been going on with the Canadian men's and women's soccer teams. I don't know why we're doing that. We're nice people. What's that? What is Jones going to do for us? What's that going to do for us? And plus, they're playing New Zealand. They're ranked like 38th in the world. What else do you need to know? They're below you by like 20. We're good, man. We're good. So that's a hot take.
It's like Olympic Spygate.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to call it, Olympic Spygate.
Maybe they hired Bill Belichick to work on their staff.
Probably. I want to say probably. Also in the Olympics news, we all know, hopefully you all know, and hopefully you all saw Snoop running the torch. I don't know if I want to call it running. Snoop's not really good at anything athletic, but he tries. He tries really hard. So he was handling the torch out there. What else is going on in the sports world? Anything else that we missed?
I don't know, man. I've been a little bit, like I said, I've been a little bit off the last few days. So I did see that. I forget the name of the website, so I don't want to miscredit it. But they did the top 10 running back list, and they had Derrick Henry at number 2. Do we really put Derrick Henry that high on the running back list? Still, not overall this year. Is he the number 2 running back in the league? I really don't think so. They had Nick Chubb at 3, and they had Bijan Robinson at 4. I don't think those guys are 2, 3, and 4. Bijan Robinson's just not there yet. Nick Chubb is coming off a horrific injury last year. And Derrick Henry is just he's a bruiser, and he's been in the league too long. I'm surprised that we don't have, and again, this is gonna be a homer pick. I know people are gonna say that, but Breece Hall is definitely better than those 3 running backs right now.
Who's the third? It was Henry, and you said who else?
Henry was 2, Nick Chubb was 3, and Bijan Robinson was 4. And number 1 was McCaffrey, which I get that. I put McCaffrey there. But that 2, 3, and 4 is like, come on. And number 5 was Jonathan Taylor, which maybe I bump him up before those other guys.
Right.
I probably put Jonathan Taylor number 2.
He's scary because Nick Chubb is scary because of the injury, but aside from that, I mean, he's easily been a top 3 running back, I think.
Yeah, but we don't know. I mean, I'm talking about this year. This year, I can't put him at number 3 this year. Not going into the season.
Yeah. I mean, do we even know his status at all? Do you guys?
I don't even know if he's practicing yet. He's probably on the PUP. He's probably, when people have those major injuries, they usually start off on the PUP list. He's probably on the PUP list right now.
Yeah.
Bijan Robinson looked good last year at times, but he didn't, he hasn't proven anything yet. And Derrick Henry, again, Derrick Henry has been in this league for far too long, taking too many hits. I can't put him at number 2. I'm sorry. I wouldn't even have put him at number 2 last year. Ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Great. Rob, is there anything that you want to add?
Really losing faith in the Yankees, man.
Oh boy.
We look bad. It's getting rough.
It's
The
really
pitching has completely fallen off. Garrett Cole doesn't even look good. Luis Hill looks awful.
Yikes.
Carlos Rodon looks awful, and we got him for 5 more years.
and you want to know the worst part about it is there's some guys out there to go trade for. There's Garrett Crochet. There's Blake Snell. Do you know who I saw the thing this morning? You know who they're interested in? 44-year-old hasn't pitched in a year, Rich Hill. That's who they're interested in bringing in. Who hasn't pitched all season? That's who they want to bring in to help save their season. Is Rich Hill? Rich Hill? Stop being cheap. You're the New York freaking Yankees. Rich Hill.
If the season ended right now, I don't would Soto even come back?
If they showed him the money, he will. But you were hoping that something was so special that he might be like, you know what, I want to be part of this. So even if it's a few bucks less, I'll stay. Players don't do that. They usually go where the money is. If they show them the money,
A month ago, we're thinking, yeah, everything's going great. We're one of the best teams in the league. Soto's going to come back for sure. We got the best duo in baseball. Starting rotation looks great. Now everything's is falling apart at the same time.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm a Blue Jays fan, so I got nothing to talk about right at this moment. Because we're going to mix things up big time. Hey, listen, if you didn't hear...
Vladdy might get traded, right?
Dude, we might blow the whole damn thing up, man. We might just call ourselves the Montreal Expos after this season just to switch it up. Like, it's that bad.
The trade deadline is... When is the trade deadline? Should be next week, I think, right?
The 30th.
Yeah.
I know Randy Arozarena.
Yeah,
Arozarena got traded to the Mariners.
Yep. That's a good pickup for them.
Poor Rays fans. They lose every player they get.
You don't want to pay any players that they get. Can we shout out Celso too? Celso's last show.
Oh yeah, of course. Listen, shout out to the man, the myth, the legend, Celso. He's behind the scenes. Pops in every once in a while when we go in too hard about any of his favorite teams, which is the Yankees, and just an overall good dude, or the Knicks. Yeah, just an overall good dude. Celso, thanks for being with us, man. Thanks for having us. Thanks for graphically designing all our cards and whatnot, and just making the pod run smoothly, man. We appreciate you, so thank you so much. And also, last but certainly not least, shout out to Flavor Flav, who is the U.S. men's water polo hype man. In case you didn't know that, you're welcome. Let's have some weekend words, and then we're gonna get out of here. Rob, anything from you to the people for the weekend?
Not much. I mean, the Olympics going to start soon. Get ready to watch the Jason Tatum show. He's going to be a 2-time gold medalist leading the U.S. to victory. How does that make you feel, Gene?
Gene, any weekend words for you?
Wait, hold on. I'm just trying to hold it down. My breakfast. I had a rough few days. Shout out to Zoe. I had a rough few days. So if I look like I don't want to bother with you, leave me the fuck alone.
Gene just telling it straight as it is. Hey, my name is Nigel, and I had a great time today. It was a short one, but a real good one. Have yourself a fantastic weekend. Whatever you're going through, hug somebody, text somebody, call somebody. People are there for you because we want to make sure that we get through all this stuff together. From the pop-off, Wudi and Caleeb, we want to say have a fantastic weekend. Stick with us and stick with the Morning Brew Sports Network, and we out.